Hey everyone, how's it going? Right? Move my phone. How's everyone doing today? Here we go, color. I'm doing alright. Busy week, a lot of stuff. Need a couple hours to myself. This is the perfect time. Kinda, middle of the day. Alright. No, these are not mini monthly prints. These I ordered a while ago and they finally shipped in. I should show you some of the mini monthly prints that I finished up though. I'll show you that in a second. These pretty cool. Get over here. These are pretty cool. They're like skull stones. Pretty good for like Shadowfell or like Underdark or whatever is spooky and filled with rocks. This is an official well. Don't worry about that. This is a blacksmith shop that is not primed yet, so we're not gonna really worry about this. But I will show it off. Take the roof off. I'll probably end up gluing the roof to it. Get in there. Yeah. I'm happy with it. It's a nice little set deck. But I do have these. It's kind of a shopping market, and I primed these over the weekend. Primed them with a desert yellow mustard, and then this stick, which has to be glued here. But the idea being, I can make a little shopping center whenever we want. Whether it's just decoration, we just want to have a map on the field, and it's like, oh, you're in a shopping center. It's a little fun. Or there's like an investigation happening at the shopping center, or surrounded by guards, or you're chasing somebody. Whatever it needs to be. Most of the time, if you're in a shopping market, it wouldn't be on the table. At least for me, it would just be up here in the theater of the mind. But if you do have a battle in like an urban environment, you can like put a little shop on the side of the street or something. And it's just nice texture to make it feel like a little bit more city. And then, because the moment you bring out a battle map, players are like, I can only do what's available. So if you offer more things that are available, they can play with it. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, so I did these. Normally I do these with magnets, but I didn't do magnets because I didn't want to spend 2 weeks building these. So they're just meant to be piles of snow. It's just EVA foam that is just snow. A little light, there's no real anything underneath. But it's kind of bland, and snow is bland. But I also have these. They're the same as my desert rocks. I had the guy who printed them to print them in half to be a little bit more snow pile appropriate. And I'm trying to figure out how to making sure my mic worked. Trying to learn how to do some water effects without using resin. And a popular thing online, especially in the train model community, is using toilet paper. So glue and toilet paper, and you water it down and you can create shapes. So it's going to take a few days to dry. But I put some gluey, watered down glue toilet paper on one of these piles of snow. Try to get some of that texture. And you can just play with it in the brush to really get some organic texture vibes. And there's a lot of layers that have to happen afterwards. But I really like this as a wet texture, especially for low budget. And in a few days I'll figure out how that goes. And then if it goes well, I'm going to do it to these piles of snow too. And that would get rid of a little bit of this low poly look effect. Because for rock texture, I primarily use black pepper and glue. And that gives that nice little, like, tiny rocks vibe across the whole thing. And so, if this works, I can use that for snow. I can use that for mud. I can use that for water and lava, which is going to be interesting. And if I can get water and lava to be, I probably won't be able to get them the same thing because I have to do paint. But I like it. It's low budget. What I also like is these snow piles that are low res printed, which look perfect for desert. Took one, and I did the same effect. Covered it in toilet paper. Super cheap, single roll purchase toilet paper. And watered that down over there, and now kind of has more of a wet texture over the model. Touching that, I keep ruining it. So I'm really stoked for this effect. Because I have an idea for web texture, as in like spider webs, and that's really using like Halloween spider webs, but then making permanent shapes out of the webs with glue, and then you have a nice stiff piece of webbing that you can put down across pieces, and players can walk on top, on bottom, and stuff. So I'm interested in that too. But those pieces have to dry for a few days, so we'll check in on those next week. Today, probably gonna paint some market stuff, guys. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what we can do. These are primed, they're ready to go. Is there anything primed in this shelf? There's a house in this shelf, but it's not primed. And you know what? If I go in here, this. So this is thicker EVA foam. So this is meant to be like a rock, a massive rock piece that players could use on the battlefield for more terrain pieces, whatever. And my hope, if I don't break it, is this actually is meant to fit right on top of that. So this rock can have a nice snow top. I'm hoping for that to work. So flimsy. Just don't leave it on this. Cool. So, yeah, we're gonna do some painting here. There's an airplane passing by the open window because I don't have an air conditioner. Gray. Some red. Well, they're brown, arid earth, elvish flesh. Always gotta have some elf flesh laying around. What else? What other colors? So we got some bread, some stone, some wood, got taters, got veggies. So let's get some bread. Some red, some greens. Some purple. I feel like that pretty much covers it. I don't know what's over here. Looks like some pies. It's going to be pretty bland, and then once we have a base, I'm going to use a lot of the bland basic colors like grays and browns first. And then once we have that on, I'll start looking at adding the vibrant colors so it's just pretty to look at. Am I lagging? No. Great. This is a big piece. Let's start here. Well, actually, I need to glue that. I would do that. Man, there's a garbage man outside. Love it. Garbage man. You love that sound? I do. Makes me feel like a professional. Makes me feel so pro. That garbage man. Man, that garbage man. Battle bots are back. There's the stick. But we're actually going to do this last because it needs to glue and dry. Apparently people like to honk outside. Normally I wouldn't draw attention to it, but it's so loud. So loud. Okay. Great. That's... It's right there. Oh, come on, don't glue my finger. There. Dude, drop a rip in the chat if Garbage Man's outside. Okay, let's start with this guy then. He's got no top, so it's just a single piece. We're mostly dealing with wood first. So they're brown. I have more oak than I do leather, so I'm gonna use oak brown. Grab some of my expensive, medium priced brushes and some of my super cheap brushes. Just go to town. We're gonna get this done, guys. Sit back. Let me know if the music's not loud enough to compete with the BattleBot dumpster boys in the background. Just hang back, relax. If you got any D&D questions or thoughts, toss them in the chat. Yeah, so for mechanics, I mean, I've been tinkering around with a lot of mechanics. I think the biggest one is lockpicking, travel. I've been really refining travel. On top of, with the respect that, like, we can just fast travel, right? If everyone's down for fast traveling, we can just fast travel and just like roll a die. See if something gets in the way on the way there. It's simple as that, but it can also get a little bit more exploration-ish. Then, which my travel and my lockpicking mechanic are basically the same, which is really cool. And they take it, it's not a new idea, I just take combat mechanics and put it in that. The contrast is really nice. Come on, autofocus. Contrast is real nice. I've been tinkering with frightened condition. I like it. I like the idea of it being points, kind of like exhaustion. But when we just played a game and frightened was involved, the mechanics really just never felt like they were a part of the game. So I gotta figure that out. I've been tinkering with flanking. I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'm just going to remove flanking or make flanking a feat. I think flanking is misunderstood as a mechanic in general. I think it's meant to be more teamwork affiliated than it is meant to be surround the enemy. I'm tinkering with it. I don't necessarily like what I got tinkered. The thing that I like most about what I tinkered with flanking is that I have a minimum requirement of how many people are supposed to be flanking to be considered flanked as a condition, depending on your creature size. So large and smaller require 2 people to flank. Huge requires 3. Gargantuan requires 4 to 6. Depends on the creature and depends on the complexity that you want to have it as like a puzzle kind of situation. This Gargantuan is a kind of an unlimited size. I've been playing with that. Exhaustion, I've definitely tinkered with a lot. Because as much as I think exhaustion as written works better as a theater of the mind mechanic and not so much a mechanical mechanic. Because when the concept of half your speed, when you're playing inch by inch on a grid, half your speed is a lot. But if you're playing in theater of the mind, it's not that bad. You really can say like, oh, you barely get there and blah 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 blah. So I've been tinkering with exhaustion to be a little bit more playable. Like 1 point of exhaustion instead of a disadvantage on checks is you can't roll a critical success. 2 points of exhaustion instead of half the speed, it's every action, bonus action, reaction, whatever you want. Whenever you use that, it costs you 5 feet of movement. So if you spend all your movement via your actions and moving around the battlefield, you won't be able to use your reaction because it costs 5 feet. I don't know. That one was a interesting, fun one. Because that can kind of work in Theater of the Mind, where you're like, I use the rest of my movement, but I make sure I have at least 5 feet of movement, enough movement to do a reaction. Okay, cool. And then, what was that the third point? I don't remember. It's written down somewhere on my laptop. But I also make exhaustion, you don't die. You just fall unconscious. And I think that comes from, like, I'm fine with killing my players. I really am. I just want them to not die because of exhaustion, because exhaustion is kind of meant for repercussions for not taking care of yourself physically. Yes, that technically means you should die at some point from it, but it feels cheated if you die that way. You know? You feel more okay by dying from a monster fight than you do from an exhaustion fight. So I tweaked that a bit, and I'm genuinely really happy with that, because at best the disappointment is I roll a natural 20, but it's not a nat 20 because you're exhausted. So that's what kind of the mechanics of it tweaking. I took the 20d6 cap off of fall damage because no, even a barbarian's got to be afraid of falling. I've been tweaking some other stuff, but the more I sit on it, it doesn't really survive the refrigerator test. Which, if you don't know what the refrigerator test is, the test is Alfred Hitchcock came up with it. It's you go watch a movie, and in the moment, really fun, you enjoyed it. But in the middle of the night, when you get up and you're looking in the refrigerator to eat something, your brain goes, wait a minute, that doesn't really make sense. See, that's the refrigerator test. You want to try to pass that. If I had a desire to add creatures, I mean, yes. But I also organize my creatures based off terrain. So, if I don't have my terrain organized within encounter table, which is not just the point of my encounter tables aren't just, aha, my players have to roll on these. It organizes my mind and my world building. What creatures exist in this type of the world, or this part of the world? What creatures live in my deserts? What creatures live in my Arctic? And so on and so forth. And for the most part, I don't have to create anything, because there's plenty of monsters out there. I do sometimes wish there were better special abilities for monsters to be more of a threat or a challenge, a unique challenge to players, so that monster fights aren't just hit slash hit slash hit slash. I do wish it was more. There were opportunities for stuff like breath weapons, a thing, and I think the recharge mechanic. A lot of people say they like. Not the biggest fan. I would rather have it be every other turn it's unlocked, and that gives you a kind of a timer. Someone online came up with a tool, an idea of like giving dragons essentially like power points. You gain every turn, a dragon gains another power point, and the dragon can use the power points essentially as like spell slots for their special ability moves, and they're constantly regrowing and recharging throughout the turn. And I really like that. And different abilities cost different points. So it's kind of like boss points. And you can't stop them from regrowing. And like, a boss could spend, if a boss has a max amount of points, they could spend all of them for their legendary resistance. So it kind of puts if you can force the boss to be spending their points, then they can't use their legendary resistance. Which means for DMs, the guarantee for legendary resistance is more on the front end of battle. Which is kind of what the whole point is to make sure that the epic battle doesn't end in one turn. Or one round. Big shout out to Allie's Reading Corner. Blowing up with all the views. Hey Jimmy, thanks for joining. I'm doing well. Spending a couple hours just painting, getting my arts and crafts done. Because sometimes, throughout the week, you can feel too busy and you can't get to it. So the stream is really great for making sure that I dedicate at least a couple hours a week to it. And I get to share it with you guys and hang out. How you doing, Jimmy? Learn to build set pieces for your game. Where to start? I recommend with the base floor first. Classic, hey, get a cave floor, get a grass floor, get dungeon tiles. The best start. Wooden floor is also, I think, the next one down. A lot of people think, oh, you want all the other stuff? No. Wooden floor is a definite guarantee after that, because you forget how many battles you have that are inside a room. And then I would say once you have those floors, rocks. I have these rocks that I've been making. These are kind of test ones I made for a while ago. But they kind of work as giant rocks. Where is Barthet? There he is. So, focus, camera, focus. So so I make these. I just cut up EVA foam and I cut the top to give them a beveled edges and bottom. And then this one I just straight up painted flat. And then this one I put my my rocky texture on, which is just ground black pepper with glue. Rocks, cave, grass, which I just use glue and dill. And then a wooden room piece goes a long way. After that, crap like this. Like crates and barrels, you know, like, oh, there's some junk over there in the room. That goes a long way. You don't really need to make walls or get walls, I think. I am playing around with these like half-size walls, low profile walls, so I can outline stuff. But like, there you go. Like, this is as much as you need to make a room. And then a door is right there. Right? Boop. I'm in a room. So you can use, you can get these 3D printed, or you can get a bunch of this foam, which is about the same height actually. I just make these myself. And just slice these up. And now you got some walls that you can just toss on and give your players a shape. Being able to define the walls is a satisfying feeling. Being able to build junk into the corner of the room, they're like, oh, I'm gonna check those boxes and barrels. That's a great motivator for just cover, maybe a hidden potion or a scroll or something, maybe some extra arrows. That's kind of the best stuff. Is there anything else? After that, I think it's just fun and texture, you know. Oh, here's a fun one. These I haven't finished painting, but like, they're giant piles of rubble. And it's perfect. They can either spend their turn running to the side, or they can do half the speed cross. Or an athletics check to get across, you know? But yeah, start with the most common scenario, common terrain that you're playing in. A cave, a dungeon tile, out in the grass, in a room, so wood floors. Start with that as your basis. Find a way to define the lines of the wall. I mean, you could just buy a bunch of rulers and paint them. And these are where the walls are. And they're super low profile, you know? super low profile. If you don't want to do those, you can just like get tiles. So, hey, this is the room right here. This just, where is it? I have something. So if you have tiles, you can be like, that's the room. Okay. So you don't even need walls at that point. I need walls because I use big giant discs. And then junk to fill the room. Just to feel like it's a little lived in. Just some barrels, crates, chests. Start with that. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. If you were in the woods, this is a fun one. Be right back. Room, so this is like a room tile. You don't need walls for this. A circular room. I can make a square one if I want to add walls, or I'm going to do what I'm planning to do is have squares and circles for my rooms. If you're in the forest, these are great. Not 3D printed, handcrafted. You can get these on Etsy. These are primarily meant for like train models and train sets. This is a solid 3x3 base. Like that. And just scale-wise, it feels like a good size tree. It feels like a dark scene. Maybe it feels so dark. Because it is dark. Turn up brightness on the light. It's a little bright on me. Yeah. Having like 3 trees on your grass terrain. So far. You're like, there are trees, you're in the woods. Crates. Crates bag. This is a great set piece. You know, I'm probably going to use this more than anything I have. Yeah, I'm gonna probably use this more than anything that I have. More than dice. I also have this little guy. This was a fun little bonus. This I got from Mini Monthly, which was, it's just a pile of paper. There's a candle on it. Got a painted tip. Hang on. I want to fix this focus issue. So yeah, I'm going to use this a lot so that they can see that there's papers in the corner of the room. And I just put it on a clear base. Take a look at that. Those boxes one more time. Better. You know, it's not the highest quality print, but this in the corner, it adds a lot. As a player, I'm gonna like, there are boxes. Why did he put boxes? And then there's this. Paper detail. Macro lens. I just ordered a few of these. I got some variants of stairs, both wood and stone. That goes a long way in telling your players where they can go out of the room. So get out of here. I got a door. Oh, I got this little door guy. Swings open, so I'll put a door right here. The barrel's over there. You know what? There's a few pillars in the room. Boom, that's it. And that's the room. You know, literally barrels and boxes. This is an official Wizards of the Coast thing. Get these. Normally these come in like spell packs. Go to eBay, you can get them solo and for super cheap. And now I have like 6 of these pillars. And I got a door. Like you come in, you drop everything. Oh, let me, you got me all amped up for this. Let me try this. Perfect. I got it. Okay, so extra mile on Etsy. Let me bring up his name because it's really cool. I support this guy all the time. If I need an LED mini piece, I always go to this guy. LED lights. D&D. Mickey Morology. So he's got LED lights that if I just rotate the bottom, turns on. I'll just have one light because yeah, it looks kind of like a basement. All right. So we'll have pretty much this. We have the rogue and the wizard enter the room. Okay. As they enter the room, they see the light is filling up about that much space. This is all darkness and you can't see much. But you can tell there's a set of stairs over there. The rogue is going to check out these papers, and as he does, out of the shadows arrive 2 devils. Roll initiative. So yeah. So I have a lot of cool stuff going on. But let's break this down and make this the most accessible that you can do. It's okay, Jimmy. It's okay. You got me sidetracked because this is the shit. Let's start from the ground up. The base, okay? The base are literally popsicle sticks. They're just popsicle sticks. I have a whole box. I have a whole box of popsicle sticks that I cut them. I glue them to one-inch grid graph paper. That way I can keep them fairly aligned. It doesn't really matter. You could just start gluing and make the wood look whatever you want, but I do that to have some symmetry. And then yeah, I sand it, and I glued it to this big chunk of EVA foam on the bottom. It's the same stuff that you get for your home gym floor, right? And then I stained the wood with like a dark brown wash that I have for painting. Then I sanded it one more time to get all these worn out vibes to it. And that starts with the, like, none of this looks cool without the floor. So everything else is dressing. You want, if you think about it in like theater, you would need a stage to dress to have the play on. So rocky caves, floor, dungeon tiles, wood tiles, grassy floor because you fight out in the grass a bunch of times. Start with that. You can go a million miles with those 4 base floors. You can get a little bit more exotic if you want to make a desert one, a Arctic one, a volcanic one. Those are just exotic. Stick with this, because most of your D&D games happen in a cave, underground, in a dungeon, on the way to the dungeon, or in a room. Then boxes, scrap items like boxes, papers, and barrels. I don't have any chests. I need to get some chests. But that goes away where you're filling up the space, because if I took these out, right? Took out the papers, took out the barrels and the boxes, right? And just stick with this. The issue is, without that texture, when you walk into this room, the players go, well, I guess we go up the stairs because there's nothing else. There's nothing to distract them. Nothing to dirty up the space and make them think about something else. The rogue would have never gone to these papers. The rogue would have just went up the stairs. Wizard would have followed. They probably would have had like 1 perception check. The stairs. Stairs are great in showing the next room. So if you like a video game, stairs, trapdoors, doorways are all perfect transition points in a video game. Skyrim. Go through the door, load the next room. Go up the stairs, load the next room. Go down the hatch, load the next room. Repeat, repeat. Those are perfect transition points. We know where we're coming from, where we're going, and if we're going back the other way, we know we go down. You don't even need to pull this out, because the players will go, we go back down the stairs and head out that door. Great. This is a great little piece of texture, is the LED light. This is not necessary. It is really super cool. It's like $3 to $5 a light. So, bonus. It's just bonus. I definitely recommend doors. Doors are a fun piece of texture. And I don't, you could get a bunch of different types of doors. You honestly can. I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna say, hey, that's a barred door and you can see through it. I'll just say that. It's fine. Video game designers are allowed to reuse models, so should I. These pillars, not needed. Let's take them out. They're definitely not needed. You can have a very fun, quick D&D battle just like this. What the pillars do, though, they definitely add the feeling of claustrophobic rooms. Is that English? They add the sense of being claustrophobic. And especially as a rogue, well, I hide behind the pillar. Well, you can't really hide back there. I'm gonna say you can squeeze past and get here. You're hidden. Great. And that was my bonus action, so for my action, I jump out and shoot with advantage. Sick. So, last time, and then I'll jump back in. Worry about your terrain floor. Caves, dungeons, rooms, rats. Then worry about how to dirty up the space with boxes, chests, barrels, papers, books, scatter junk, hoarders. Think that. Then go for doors, windows, and stairs. Windows, I don't have any windows, but I did find windows that are almost exactly like this, which are being shipped. And that way I can put a window in this room, and the players can go look out the window, and they can ask a question. Then I would say, buy some cheap pillars. You don't have to buy these ones. It's a bit pricey, but they're rugged because they're made by WizKids. I need to put a big face on them though. And you can get cheap printed pillars on Etsy. Egyptian style, Roman style, Dwarvish style, Elvish style. You can get all those. And those different types of pillars can be a subtle way of telling a story too. Yeah. Theater of the mind with hiding sometimes is a little difficult. Yeah. So that's my recommendation, Jimmy. You can also, since I grabbed 4 pillars, you don't have to have a middle pillar. You can just say, hey, there's 4 pillars in the corners of the room. Still adds the vibe of the room growing around you without having a wall that blocks all the visibility. And then if you have a Lazy Susan, which I highly recommend for all, have a Lazy Susan, small or large. Rotate it so your players can see the action from different angles. The light can be found on Etsy by McKee Horology. I'm going to spell it out. McKeeM as in Mary, Horology. He's got a bunch of stuff. Oh, he's got a new, he's just got something new. It's like a magic LED. Oh, it's not LED. It is an LED. It's a bouncy ball magic glowing orb. He's got LED colored crystals. He's got this, which is like a little brazier. He's got a giant brazier. He's got a campfire. He's got portal doors. He's got mushrooms. He's got lanterns, which I want to. He also got torches, which is something I want to get. Is little torches that go on the bottom of the minis, so it looks like they're holding torches. I love it. I got a message on Etsy. Anyway. But I also have so many toys. Hang on. Okay, so I have these. I have a handful of 6-inch rulers in here. Those are roughly 30 feet walking distance for most people. And the rest of these are just spells. You know, I got all these on Etsy too. Cover most spells, if not all spells. But I also have these. These are a little bit of a custom order. And they're a different color. The yellow. Let's see, 20 foot. So normally when you carry a torch, you really want to have fun with your players. You can say, hey, you got a torch. You're like, this is how much your torch lights up. Not that much. Brazier, I can say, because it's a big light source. I asked for a 30-foot sphere, but because it's on the edge of the room, I got a custom half 30 foot. And the point of that, very specifically, is for me to do this when I build my sets. So that way it's like, hey, that's bright light over here in the yellow. And then just on the edge of it, that's dim light. And then everything else is darkness. So the rogue is right now fighting in darkness against the Cambion. No. Oh, fuck, I disappeared. Or if the Cambion, because there's a little candle on this, yeah? I'll say the candle casts 5-foot radius, 10-foot sphere. I'll just put that there. There's a little bit of light being cast right there, and a little bit of light being cast there. This was a really fun idea I had, so I just had to order them. Is placing light on the mini terrain to really just like add the sense of like, oh, you see the light. But yeah, this is like, remember, we started with popsicle sticks, right? And then we added junk, added the entry and the in and out of the room, the door and the stairs. Then we added pillars for just style, and then extra style we added light, a little fire, and then we went the above and beyond to showcase the lighting in the room with acrylic templates on the floor. These are perfect for torches and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, their shop is amazing. And you don't always have to do all this too. Like some days you're just like, it's a dark room. But I think one of my issues with like dark vision is people are really bad at explaining photons. It's not a thing that a lot of people do a lot, is describe light. People just look at light and go, oh, it's lit. No, the photons are bound, like, people don't think in lighting. Cinematographers would make great DMs in describing a room. Put these over here. Oh, or I could just leave it all in this platform and move the platform. So these as lights to paint the floor with, because no one in the real world knows how to talk or think in lighting, goes a long way. People often just, oh, the room is dim. So I'm rolling at my perception at disadvantage. You know? Or if you have dark vision, it's normal. It's just dim, so it's a little moody, and because you have dark vision, it's a little monochromatic. People don't even go that far to describe that. That's why I don't like dark vision. It's just, it assumes people know how to talk in lighting, and people don't. No offense to those who do. Yeah, we're painting this market shop. What a transition. And I think that's why minis and those LED lights are all really cool. It's because people really struggle at describing a room, describing a set, describing the lighting of a space. There's a genuine struggle. Because not everyone is a storyteller and a filmmaker. That takes a while to learn how to be good at, let alone verbally explaining it. Not like a writer who can write it out and then Google some synonyms and thesaurus. Like, you have to be able to know how to describe this stuff in real time. To a degree, right? If you have a chill game, doesn't matter, man. Describe something cool for me. And also, if you over describe it, people lose it. You know, if I spend a whole 60 seconds describing how my witch bolt spell works and how it looks and how it acts, you're using too many characters in your sentence. You know, that character limit, it needs to be a tweet. In writing, you know, the best hook is 3 to 5 words. Can you describe something really cool in 3 to 5 words? If you could do that, that's the muscle to practice of describing stuff in 3 to 5 words. Which I can't even do on the top of my head right now. It helps. Reducing the amount of characters used to describe something, and then if they roll high enough to unlock more characters for you to use, you can speak in more words. Yeah, so Tyler, how dark vision technically works. So you have to first understand how normal vision works, which is bright light, fine. Lightly obscured / dim light, disadvantage. Darkness or heavily obscured, cannot see. Auto failure. Hopefully the DM describes it a little bit better than that, but that's the baseline. Dark vision kind of adjusts the scale a bit. Dim light is now like bright light, which is a straight roll, and now darkness is dim. Up to X feet, usually 60. I think it should be 30. So it matches like, or 20, it matches what a torch is. It should be that, not double. And then there is extreme dark vision, which does exactly what dark vision does, extends the range, but then bright light is disadvantage. It's pretty simple. It's also a lot, because you'd never, when you think about a room when you make it, you're thinking about it through your human eyes. Oh, there's a fire there, it's spooky, I'm gonna hide this in the shadow. And you think that way. And then the player goes, well, I have dark vision. What does that mean? You can see this, you can see that. It's not always the funnest part of the game is dark vision. You walk into a basement. What does the word basement replace, you know? The set that we just had. You walk into a room with pillars, stone walls, wooden floor. There's a fire over there, allowing you to see what I just described. Or you can go. You walk into a basement. There's a fire over there that allows you to see some junk over there, some junk over there. You barely can make out the stairs on the other side. There's a few pillars. You don't even need to describe the pillars if you don't want to. The basement. Assume there might be pillars. Let them ask if there's pillars. Yeah, Jimmy, that's exactly true. People don't have RTX enabled minds. Everyone's graphic processor is like a 1980s 1 gig graphics card. Everyone is using mobile phone graphics cards. Like flip phone, razors. And so like, Describe is a great tool. Not sponsored. Wish they were a sponsor, because that would mean I'm being sponsored. But love them. Great ideas. Some nice flourishy words. If my players don't understand the words I'm using, how good is that description? You know? You gotta take what you get from a tool like Describe, and then spend a minute to think about, if I say this out loud, are my players going to understand what I'm saying? And maybe I can condense some of those words to be as clear as possible. Because when I describe a room, I see the room in my mind as the DM. I see it. I am there. So I have to describe the bare bones. And if they want to know more, they gotta roll for it. Otherwise, I'm not going to sit here and describe a room for 60 seconds and then you leave. I just wasted 60 seconds. I'd rather give you 10 seconds of description, not fast description, just clear and simple description. And you tell me if you want to know more. Did I hook you? Was this a good intro to the chapter? It's a good way to approach things like that. Yeah. Approach it like an editor once you come up with the idea. Not even your graphics card can handle Mindscape. How can it handle a dungeon master describing a room for 60 seconds? Hi, Sneaky. How's this glued stick doing? Pretty stick. Okay, let's paint all these boxes brown. Ooh, a little too much paint. I did say in the last stream that we were going to work on this mini right here. But I learned that some of my players are watching this stream. I can't paint certain minis. It's fine. Once my players beat the mini, I'll show it to you guys. Yeah, we covered a lot of ground today. Not just starting to paint, but we talked about some real stuff. We talked about dungeon mastery. Like not the advice stuff that you can open up on a video, but like practical. Like, hey, you want to play with some toys? You want to entertain your players a little bit? Yeah, that's the good stuff. Entertaining friends. Yeah, Jimmy, I would say that like this set of like market shop stuff is equivalent to those barrels and boxes, but it's just a different type of scenario. Like, these are the streets. You put those crates and barrels on the streets too. That's like half of what these are, just barrels and boxes. But it's just also a market shop. So, like, the detail of this being a market terrain, not really needed. Just need those boxes and barrels, man. I'm excited for my snow terrain to dry, because if the toilet paper works well, then I'm gonna, one of these streams, I'm going to start making rivers, which is up there with trees, you know, like it's a difficult terrain thing, which is great. Super low budget, easy to make rivers. this guy. Oh man, they TP'd my house. They TP'd our house. Don't throw out that toilet paper. I need it for my crafting. You walk up to the bullies the next day and be like, hey guys, thanks for TPing my house. I really needed the toilet paper for my crafting. A little sloppy, but I'm gonna paint over that. Moving on to the roof pieces. Gotta get in this crack. So I'm not painting these for a particular encounter. I don't know if my players are going to see this or not, or at least anytime soon. I have most of all the stuff I need for a majority of the encounters that I expect them to come across. So that being said, I'm in a phase where it's like, okay, what is the next most likely thing? And that is in the urban environment, which I realized, oh hey, I don't have much scatter terrain for urban environment. So I've been buying some buildings, some half buildings like you've seen. I have an apartment complex. I have a small house. I gotta get a medium piece. And then I have this market set as well as the blacksmith. And that is just great scatter terrain for the streets. If I want to drop something on the streets when we get to urban environments. So it's very much when/if we get to urban environments or any game, whether it's this campaign, the next campaign, my buddy's campaign, whatever it is, hey, if you need things on the streets, I got it. And it does kind of fall into like, prepare only for the next game session. And you should primarily only prepare for the next game session. But when you start getting into like session 20 of a game, you're like, okay, where's this going? This could happen, that could happen. Here's some possible plot threads. Cool. So, kind of genuinely need to be preparing for stuff. And how do I prepare is a question I ask. And the way I do that is I think about my terrain. If my game is heading to the Arctic, I need to think about what monsters are in the Arctic. I need to go see if those minis exist. And if those minis exist, either order them to be printed or find the WizKids version. Order some snow, order some pieces that can turn into snow, buy some trees, paint those trees white. You know, like, that's how I organize it. If we're going to a city, I should think about what's in a city. I might, depending on the pace of the game, I might want an encounter in the city. That's a big thing to think about. You know, a lot of different things happen in a city, way more than a forest. So, generally, street market. Oh, I can get some scattered street pieces, put them around. I need buildings. Rather than have big buildings, I cut them in half, and now I have some half buildings, and it can kind of be a set dressing. Guards. I need some guards. Stuff like that. So I organize my thoughts by the terrain, and I can even add in encounter tables so they roll on that and it gets randomized, which is even more prep, because you need to have a way to prepare for all those monsters all at once. Boards? As in, like, planks of wooden boards? Is that what you mean? Because that's not a dumb idea. There's also... Yes, I got this kit, but WizKids also has, like, some town sets where they have, like, the... Oh, board! As in, like, notice board. Yes, a notice board. Yes, having a notice board on the terrain. A notice board is just as much of a prep tool as an encounter table. Again, your players will want to read that notice board. So be prepared for that. A shrine in the middle of the town. Don't need a church, but like maybe they have a little... It's not that different to having, you know, when you're driving on the street and someone had flipped their car or fell off a motorcycle and they passed away and their family put a little shrine for them on the side of the road. You can have one of those kind of shrines in the middle of a town. You don't need a lot for a city when you think about it. And this is all repurposable for a hamlet, to a town, to a city. Really, the only thing that changes is what half buildings you're using as backdrops. You're using big like 3 to 4 story buildings made out of brick, or using some shacks and some barns. That's really the difference. And then, yeah, I work really hard at trying not to get the FOMO vibe of like, oh, but this is perfect for a city, but for a town, they would not have X, Y, and Z. So it was like, nope, I can't go down that road because I don't have the storage for that. So I really leave it to the terrain and then repurposable stuff. And I noticed that I don't have enough urban stuff. Here's some urban. Okay. All the wood is painted. And this one needs some more. Next up, I'm going to do gray. start with the biggest gray piece is on this guy. That is one of the reasons why I make all the wood pieces brown, but it is just a base coat, or at least these pieces. I'm going to add more details as we go on. But I just want to get my base colors down, and then I can clean up the details and stuff. Make it way more unique looking. But at the end of the day, I gotta like, you know, make all the wood brown. Do I really want a set of oak, pine, and cherry, walnut? You know, what does it mean to make those colors so it doesn't look like cartoonish either? It means spending a lot of time. A lot of time I don't have in making those details. Nice. Yeah, I gotta eat soon too. What are these? Are they just loaves of bread? Got some glass jars. I'll paint the glass jars a storm blue. So I'll get that later. Dude, the archive, that channel is amazing. I don't nearly have the patience for it, at least right now. You know what? It's not about patience. It comes down to necessity. I play on 18-inch disc terrain, right? So I could never build a massive cavern wall with lava underneath and stuff like that. I could try, but it has to fit in my 18 inches because that's the space I have. And I think channels like that show the endless possibility and awesome epicness that you can get. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't fit on the table, you can't play it. Yeah, the archive builds are nuts. Everything's 100% modular. He aims for photorealistic terrain while also being modular. Like, have you seen the Vox video? And I think Verge made a video about the guy. Is a D&D DM who's played for like 40 plus years, and he has a massive table in his basement, and he has to be prepared for every scenario and every part of the world at any given time. His map is like the whole table, and by the whole table I mean like a 10-foot by 10-foot table. And as a DM, he's not sitting behind a DM screen. He's walking around, moving all the minis. And it's like roleplay and wargaming. and the archive is like a modern, high-quality version of what his minis look like. Because he's been making those handmade for years to fit his style. Archive makes his stuff all one set. From grass plains to rivers to lavas, all of it can interconnect and magnetically connect to each other. It's kind of crazy. Do I want to play with more magnets after watching one of his videos? Absolutely. But I limit my magnet use to the base terrain right now because magnets are expensive, and because I'm not doing something high-tech and super technical, I just use it like for this. For this rubble terrain, I got 3 magnets on the bottom to just grip it. So that way when I rotate the base on the Lazy Susan, everything doesn't just start falling over. Will these get magnets? Probably. Will it happen soon? Probably not. Probably like the day or 2 days before the game that they're going to be used in. Keep it casual that way. Also, you don't need terrain. Play D&D. Yes, some players need it. One of my players needs it. He gets super frustrated when you can't just see what's going on. Well, that's because he's got ADD, and his mind will go to a different place, and he hates asking for the room. How big is his room? What is it? Where are we? And I hate answering that question. So having some minis helps a lot. And not everyone can be because people are sometimes that visual, not everyone can go, I'd like to hide in the dark corner of a room. Alright, roll a stealth. Nope, some people need... What are you hiding behind? I don't know, dude. You... It's your map. Some people need those minis. And since one, maybe 2 of my players really need the minis, that's one of my motivations to paint all these, is because a couple of my players need it. And then, of course, on Fables, you guys need it, because sometimes it's hard to keep up. I'll probably change some of these grays to some blues and some reds. They have different potions. Oh, I never noticed that little broken pot. Okay, so I got browns and grays up. What are these? Oh, there are a bunch of pots on this one. I was going to paint these a different color, but I should start with a base gray. Also, something super helpful when not making everything look so custom and different in a D&D game is the uniformity. When I put down a toy, the player understands what they're seeing. If I put down something that I always say it looks like wood, it looks like wood. If I put down something that always looks like snow, they know it's snow. If it looks like water, because I made it look like just water versus like a very specific type of water, it's water. And that allows me to not have to narrate that. Yeah, with Theater of the Mind, you have to be a lot more forgiving, and you have to skip details. And you have to rely on notepads a lot more. The narration's really got to be to point. Like, you gotta know exactly what you're saying, and you're not flubbing it around. But then also the downside of minis is it stops becoming, a role-playing game. It starts becoming a board game. And you gotta play the middle ground. It's very tough. Because the instinct is to go to board game. Or be communicative. Not both. Dang, that's a massive pot. How did I miss this one? So if my players come to the streets and they see all these markets, boxes and barrels, these pots are not barrels, they're pots. And the importance of that is not just like flavor, but a player might think, I can't pick up a barrel. I might be able to throw this pot at them and it shatters and hurts them. That's good thinking. Go ahead and try. The point of terrain in my book is not I gotta make my sets look good. I have to distract my players. I have to give them options that otherwise they're going to be baked into the mindset. Like, I have a sword, my paper says I have a sword, and that's a monster. I'm gonna hit it with my sword. Okay, if I give you all this terrain stuff, you have the ability on your own to think outside the box without me offering solutions. Well, we got a lot of this, like, gone through. We got a lot of the wood, we got the pots. Feels like we didn't paint much, but that's okay. We went over a lot of cool stuff. A lot of helpful stuff for you guys. Like the room, the base, some scatter terrain, and just in general, the theory and concept about it, and what you should start with. Some cool LED lights. Doors and stairs, pillars, yeah, popsicle sticks, talking about that stuff, which is super helpful. Yeah, making sure that you have stone, whether that's the streets or a cave floor. The only difference really is the scatter terrain that you put on top. I can put down my cave floor and put this on, and we're on the streets instead of the caves. So stone, dungeon, grass, wood. Key 4 terrains. Scatter terrain, you know, fill it with junk. Literally fill it with junk. And doors and exits, windows if you can get them. If you get that, you're so gold. And if you add pillars, you add a whole level of feeling in the room. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. I know I didn't get far on the painting. We'll get even further next week. I'm just gonna leave my desk as is to just hopefully roll right into next week's. And then we can check in on the toilet paper experiment for snow. Yeah. I think that's about it for the day. I gotta get some other work done. This was nice and zenful. Had a lot of fun. Hope you guys learned something. Were able to relax. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. auto emote. Alright, guys. Signing off. Have a great rest of the day and have a great rest of the week.